Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Haig John with Innate Express Podcast, and I've got my good friend Isidoro Acevedo Jr., and I am excited to have him today on our podcast. Welcome, Junior.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So you're a student at Palmer, okay? Students are going through a lot of stuff right now, trying to figure out how to deal with school. How's everything going for you?
Well, it's going pretty good as of right now. Originally, I was thinking about actually taking the quarter off just because this was going to be my first quarter transitioning into clinic. So I didn't want to be cheated out of my education. I didn't want to be paying close to $11,000 and not get that hands-on experience. This is the first quarter that I'm getting my pediatrics, I'm getting pregnancy, and we're not getting any hands-on. But the professors are doing a pretty good job, like supplying us with a ton of content and materials, but we're making the best.
I mean, that's all you can do, and start learning in different ways and that type of stuff. And then transition into clinic, you're right at that kind of critical point of hands-on stuff that you've been waiting for all this time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been, you started a lot of, the students coming down to visit us and, at my office, and you started training and you're doing all that stuff. Are you still keeping up with your training?
We train actually right now more than I've ever been training.
Okay.
Since I was dedicating so much time seeing in our student clinic, which is called Toll, and there's only certain days of the week that we train at Palmer, which is Monday, Wednesday is the actual technique training, and then Tuesday, Thursday is actual physical training. So that's 4 days a week. But now we're doing Tuesdays and Thursdays at Palmer, and then Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at LifeView. So through Zoom, we're able to see and train with a lot of different people, get information, because it was just our group that we were training with. Now I'm getting a different perspective by hearing the people from LifeView. And then we also train basically internationally through that Kairos group. And there's people from around the world, and we're getting information from them. And that's on Thursdays and Sundays. So pretty much almost every day out the week, we're getting something. And then on Saturday, we just started doing the Green Book readings. So literally every single day out the week is something chiropractic related.
That's fantastic. And that Green Book reading, that was awesome too. I mean, we were around the world yesterday too. That is, the knife only gets sharper when it hits the stone. And we go through some stresses and different things, and it makes us stronger. I went through a lot of us did through accreditation issue, moved to California, moved back to Life University, and I really feel the stuff that we went through made us stronger. And I can see right now, just even when you start talking about those things, you get more excited about it because you are connecting now with chiropractors. You'll see the rest of your life.
And it's like you said, I was one of the founding members of that group that started training. So I didn't have anyone to pretty much guide me along the way. I didn't have those original members or that it passes down information. We just had to kind of wing it on our own and learn along the way. And now to be able to look up to people that have been doing this a lot longer than I have, and to be able to train with them and get critique by them, like it's a huge blessing. Like I've been taking this as a blessing.
That's fantastic. That is really good. I mean, that's the whole thing, as we shift our consciousness. If it just becomes this weight of the world, that's when you do take a break. Yeah. But, just shifting consciousness like that, and then helping other people shift their consciousness, right? The other students.
Yeah. I really feel like this is a great opportunity for us students. It's an amazing opportunity if you take it as what it is. If you, exactly like you said, if you have in your mind that you're going to take advantage of this opportunity and come out a better chiropractor, and it's definitely a possibility.
So what kind of training are you doing? I mean, what is it that you guys train now that you're on, you're doing probably Zoom stuff? And then I know you do, you do the breaths in the morning, what, at 6 a.m. or something?
So the actual training, so every single day we're doing mobility training just to move our body, wake ourselves up, to be able to get sustainable postures, like when you're palpating supine cervicals, and make sure that your back is straight and that you're strong, and for side posture and things like that. So it's just almost like a yoga routine. And then we go into a breath work and meditation, typically 49 breaths, or we do Wim Hof or something like that. But we're doing breath work and meditation every single day, the movements every single day. And then we pick one technique to refine a day. So we've done the unilateral facets, so a supine diversify basically. We've done side postures. We've done all these different techniques, and then we just dive deeper into it as a group.
That's great. That's really cool. That's absolutely awesome. So you have some,
Yeah.
how do you think all this stuff is affecting your, your regular life?
Um, it's been a challenge because I'm in a unique position where I have my family. I have 2 kids and my wife, and they live a little bit further away from the school. So I stay at school Monday through Friday, and I've been doing that for over 2 years. My son is 2 years old, so I haven't really been this close to my family in years, over 2 years. I haven't spent this much direct time in home with them. So I was noticing like that I wasn't able to build that relationship with my son because I was seeing him only on the weekends. And it was very difficult to build a relationship with him on the weekend. And all of a sudden I'm away for 5 days and come back, try to build that, pick up where we left off. But, it's not quite there, and I could feel it. And now I could just feel myself building more of a bond, connecting more with him and loving more. It's definitely been a nice transition for me. But it is a transition though. I'm not accustomed to being around them all this time. I have to be in class from 7:30 to 4:30, so it's a test of patience, like having them running around and like staying grounded in myself to be able to pay attention enough in class. It's definitely been a transition, but I could see the benefits for sure.
Well, to me, it sounds like an absolute blessing. When I was, my daughter at 2 months, she was in a bassinet behind the front desk, and grew up in the office. My son, both of them, run around the office like it's their own home. And to me, I always felt that was an absolute blessing. And I've told other chiropractors, it might be only a couple of years that you have them that they can run around the office where they even think about you. You might as well enjoy it. And it sounds like you're getting from a lot of what we've been all talking about is that creating the blessings out of this. And there is, no one ever says, I wish I worked more or I was away from home more. So we're getting this opportunity, and that sounds, fantastic to me from what I'm hearing from you, to be a better father, be a better husband, to be a better man, and a chiropractor. And so you're getting a lot out of that from what I hear. And so
Sure.
you decided to stay in this quarter. You're staying in this quarter 100%?
I'm sticking a quarter out. I am open to the idea that if by the end of the quarter, if I graduate, obviously my grades aren't a concern, but if I graduate and I don't feel like I took any benefit from the quarter, like if I'm missing out on my pediatrics hand-on or my pregnancy, or if I'm missing out on the information I should have got from clinicals, I already spoke to the dean and said that I would like to sit in on these classes next quarter. So I would take next quarter off just to make sure that I am where I need to be. Because to me, obviously I have a family that I need to support, and that's like my main concern. But I also don't want to feel like I'm cheating my future patients by not getting the experience that I need. But at this point, I feel pretty confident that I will be able to keep it moving.
A lot of it, practice in being in, out of school, the experience is the biggest part. The schooling is really, and anybody will agree to that, is the small stuff. You just get yourself out, and then you get out and really start serving the people. All that stuff absolutely comes to you when you especially have some basics and skill sets. What do you see as, just for the buzz around Palmer? You're in Palmer, Florida. What's the buzz been about through all this stuff? Have people been really joining together and maybe even bonding a little bit better? What's going on at Palmer? What do you feel?
Right now, the amount of work that we have is insane. I guess just because they want to show that we're still getting a quality education. So we have all these assignments, which are like discussion boards and weekly quizzes in every class and papers and just things to really make the schedule feel dense. So being that we have so many things that are due pretty much every day out of the week, everyone's kind of contributing to make sure that you remember, okay, make sure you turn this in, make sure you turn that in.
You're
Make
looking
sure
more as a community.
exactly everyone's looking out for each other because you have to. There's been a couple times that I completely forgot that a quiz was happening in that moment, and I'm logged into a different class. And if you don't take that quiz between this time and this time, you just got a 0.
Oh
So
my gosh, yeah.
people look out for each other. People definitely do.
That is really awesome.
Yep.
The people that you're with now in this group, that you're in, they'll be your friends and colleagues the rest of your life. I'm still friends with not all of them, but a lot of the people that I was in my class with that went through our stuff. It made us stronger. It really did.
I could see that. I could definitely see that happen.
The challenge, how many, I remember what would you take 28 to 30 something credit hours a quarter, doing that all online. That sounds like a real challenge just in itself.
Yeah, definitely in front of the computer screen for a lot of hours out the day, for sure.
Wow. It's probably hard. I have 2 children, 3 and 5, and as soon as they hear a computer on, they're right on it, just like a cat laying across your keyboard. So even that challenge, I know, is an extra hurdle, right?
And in the beginning, I didn't really know how to operate the system properly, so I was leaving the microphone on, and you could hear my kids crying in the background, and then everyone typing in, whose kids is this? Whose kids are screaming in the background? And that, like, I had no idea what was going on, but we finally got to figure it out. And they got a little taste of what it is to have kids running around and trying to learn at the same time.
It sounds like you're getting it figured out, though, and people going through these challenges. What would you say to the other students around the world? Every student, chiropractic student and person around the world is dealing with this. What would you say to them? Any input for them?
My input is exactly what I've been saying for a long time. Like, you have to build yourself a second curriculum. You can't just rely directly on what you're being provided at school. And there's no better time than right now. There's a bunch of free webinars, seminars, videos that people are putting out. You can get content from anywhere and everywhere. If you make sure to do something that is actually chiropractic related every single day, at least dedicate 1 hour to something that is chiropractic related and centered, and you'll be good. Like, this is where we can start building positive habits. I took it upon myself to train every morning just so that after all this is done, it's going to be completely natural for me to be able to continue training every single morning. To watch a minimum of 30 minutes of some type of webinar or seminar every day, and now it's going to be completely normal after all this is done.
That's fantastic. I mean, for chiropractors as well, not just students, one thing all of the mentors say is read a passage of a green book every day. And that's just not just every day you're in the office is open. It's every day. And, I've slacked on that myself at times. So I get myself geared up again. I like to get groups together to do those things. And, it is so important to be connected to chiropractic. We just had DE yesterday. And what Sid Williams always said, we need to get dipped and re-dipped into the principles. And continually dipping ourselves and being responsible for the me and the I am, that's really powerful stuff. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of students are going to get a lot out of that. hopefully they also get that they need to do it for the rest of their life,
Yeah.
because it's not a one-time job. This is a lifetime job, because, you know, we get a lot of the outside junk from our patients and people. I don't use the word patients, but, you know, the
Yeah.
people in our office, they're going to give us our things. We have people that live their different lives than we do. I think as chiropractors, we live in bliss. So we have to continually reestablish what chiropractic is for us and who we are in chiropractic. That's very important stuff. Thank you for that.
There was
So,
one other thing that you
yeah.
mentioned about the green books. I noticed that I was having a hard time reading the green books, and I think it's just because I have so much respect for actual books, so I didn't want to highlight any of it. I didn't want to write in it. I wanted it to stay pretty. But ever since I got the PDFs, it's been so much easier for me to go on my Notability app and highlight and make notes and add little stickies and do whatever I want to do, and treat it like I do with every other textbook in school. So now that I treat it like I'm studying and I'm trying to learn and take something from it, it's been a great experience for me.
You know, I'm sitting here, I've got Fame and Fortune right here next to me. That's what we read last night. And it's a new one. I bought this one. It's a reprint. So I write in this thing. I put a little bit of notes in here. I highlight things. I have some original green books. I have old green books. I don't write in those, you know, that are originally from BJ Palmer, not from DD. I wish I had one from DD, but I have way too much respect. But that's the great part about having like PDFs, new books. I don't think this is going to appreciate in value in the next 100 years, but you know, use it up. Use it up. This is the time to use it, right?
Exactly.
It's like looking at a salad doesn't do anything for you. You got to shove it in your mouth and chew it. So, what? Any other advice or any input you would give to students listening to this around the world?
There was one other thing that that I really took from the self-center meeting that we had yesterday as well, and the importance of not only training the adjustment, not only training your philosophy, not only training all these external things that make you a great chiropractor, but the importance of looking within and working on yourself within and realizing that you cannot give of what you don't have. So you better make sure that you're right within yourself before you go out and put your hands on anyone else. So I think this is a great time to reflect, to get to know who you really are as a person, to begin to actually truly love yourself as a person before you take that next step towards the table.
That's tremendous stuff. I remember last night I mentioned from a clip from Pasquale Sarasoli. He was doing a self-center meeting at the Salted Knot, New Jersey. At the very end, someone asked him a question. You know, how do you? I can't remember exactly what it was, but he goes, "I know who I am, and understanding ourselves is very important. I don't get sick from other people's things." I think that's what he was talking about, because I know who I am. Finding ourselves and who we are in chiropractic, in our families, and our personal life, that is extremely important and powerful, because I know who I am. And, you know, one of the other things we said, I'm going to say this: when we serve people with pure intention, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit, God provides everything you need. And that was one of the things we talked about last night on that too. So, you know, it has been a journey. I've been really excited, you know, training with you. You've come to visit the office. We've done readings, and you helped the other day. It was a really great help when our first day open during this COVID thing, and we set up outside. You helped us set up outside and, you know, manage the people, because we had a busy day. You know, what do you see? Do you think practice is going to change for chiropractors in the future? For what is the school saying about those type of things? Anything come up yet?
They have been saying and reaching out to students to start coming up with marketing ideas just to try to build the clinic back up, because they're expecting, I guess, people not to come back to the clinic. You know, that you could see, it's amazing that I had the opportunity to meet you, and you introduced me to the people at DE and the people at Saturday Night Live. down in Miami, because I could see the complete difference. Like the people at school are living this life of fear. They, in their mind, they already decided that people aren't going to come back, that they have to come up with all this marketing strategy, that they have to come up with this to try to get people back. And then all of a sudden, the people on DE and the people that are still continuing to serve right now, you can see that they're living a life of abundance. They just giving and loving from a sense of abundance and not concerned with that, because the people that are meant to be there will be there and will continue showing up. And the people that get it, you know, I actually had an assignment where I needed to write, oh, if you have a patient that comes up to you and says that they no longer need to come in for care because they're not feeling pain, how do you convince this person to stay? I was like, first of all, I don't want to convince anyone. And second of all, I would consider that a failure on my part, because they were with me for 6 weeks and I didn't do a good enough job educating them and explaining the benefits that are way more important than pain management. This to me is a great learning opportunity, and it reinstills that confidence that I have from what I've learned from you and from the other docs.
That's huge. That's a big deal. You know, that what you're saying about the clinic too, you know, to tell someone to say, look, just visualize and meditate, that is in fear, to get to that different vibration between the ears is a tough place. It's hard to do it. You know, we're talking about just, okay, let's just visualize the people coming in. We'll see them coming in, and I expect them to come in. To tell somebody that if they're in a different level of consciousness, they don't get it. It's hard. It's hard for them, right? It's easy for us and getting easier every day. That's a big mouthful to chew for a lot of people. Even listening to this, I'll tell you a little bit about my clinic experience at school. I left at 10th quarter to go to Cleveland and Los Angeles to be by my family. And I basically started over again. I wasn't in clinic. All these things happened over there, and I decided I needed to go back. Just like you're saying, my turkey wasn't cooked yet. I needed to go back to life, and I went back to life. And I failed I started the 4th week or 5th week, and I actually failed that quarter of clinic. And I said, like Dr. Sid used to say, I ain't going down no more, like Rocky said, you know? And I started seeing all the people in my mind first. This is in clinic. And I finished clinic in 2 quarters with, I think I almost had like 500 adjustments by the time I was done. And I basically finished all the requirements in 2 quarters, from failing to changing my consciousness to abundance. And all the people would give me their patients. They would come into the clinic asking for me, that how in the world did I know this person? It's because Spirit guided them there, and I trust in that. That's a big, big trust for a lot of people to step over. I did also pray to say, send me, if this is real, because I come from a medical family. My father's an MD. He's a psychiatrist in Manhattan. And I said, show me, you know, this real stuff. And man, did I get some cases. I got some heavy stuff. And big transformations with all of them, including myself, because then I saw, wow, there is so much power in chiropractic itself, that I am gifted to, I am allowed to serve people chiropractic. It is a God-given gift, I feel, and I feel blessed for it. So any, closing remarks, Junior, anything else that, it's just weighing on your heart or your mind?
Actually, I do have one question for you, and that's something I've been like kind of chewing over and trying to think about it, and you just mentioned it right now, so I figured I'd take this opportunity.
Okay.
What do you think is that difference that allows you in that moment, a student, to get results that docs who've been practicing for years can't get? Because to me, it's not simply that input I'm putting into someone's system. Like, there has to be something more. What do you think that something more is?
Love, trust, and knowing that I know that I know that I know that I know that chiropractic is right for them. Straight, unsullied chiropractic is what I say. I also had amazing mentors. Pasquale Sarasoli was my mentor as I was in school. Saw 1,300 people a week. Very straight, focused, spiritual chiropractor. Sid Williams, of course, he was the president of the school at the time. Or actually, he transitioned out then, but I'd already received that wisdom from DE as well. I wasn't mentored by Jim Sigafus at the time. It was right after that. But we all knew these principles because we got together like you do, and we talked about these principles ourselves as chiropractors. And at the Path of Mastery with Wade Port, and our other groups where we really, we talked about these things. We sat down and we visualized together our clinic experience. What was it going to be like? We don't want to wear our, I never wanted to wear what do you call it? Like a lab coat in my office. And I really was like, oh, I don't want to wear this thing. I had to, right? But I visualized myself caring for the people and bringing the people in. And we created that within us. So what happens? Your vibration changes. I say it uplifts, and you become more attractive. So it was from the principles that were set in me by my mentors. And that's why I go out and teach and I mentor, because I feel I was given a gift from them, and then it is my duty to share it. And BJ Palmer said, you've been given a sacred trust, guard it well. I add this, also share it well. So, that's where we are right now. I hope that answers your question.
Definitely does. And I hope that docs listening to this, take that, because it was so nice to finally be at Self Center after hearing you talk about it for so long. And it's insane to think that I've never met Dr. Pasquale, but through you, I received some of his wisdom. And they have the opportunity to keep Self Center going by being able to pour in the wisdom that was poured into them. So there's plenty of students out there that are dying for someone to guide them along this path. So it would be nice.
Awesome. Well, Junior, thank you so much for joining in Innate Express podcast. I really love and appreciate you. And I know we're going to be longtime friends. And I want to invite everybody, like, share, subscribe to this page. And God bless you. We're all going through this. We're going to be talking about regrouping, restructuring our chiropractic practices and thriving. That is what this podcast is going to from it already has. We started that with Wade. And we're going to see more of him, Junior, and we're going to have Arno coming up next as well. So we're going to talk about growth. We're going to talk about being successful again, getting out of this lack mindset. So God bless you all. I love and appreciate you. Thank you again, Junior. And I will see you soon.
Thank you.